The Bold and the Beautiful, B&B, spoilers for the week of October 6 to 10th state that Steffy Forresters, Jacqueline MacInnes Wood, Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, Dread will loom as Hope Logan, Annika Noel, ultimately deals a shattering blow to Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor. 4 openers, Ridge Forrester, Torsten Kay, and Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, will reel following Katie Logan's, Heather Tom, back from the dead Luna reveal. Brooke and Ridge will rage about Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, secretly rescue Luna, who tainted Will Spencer's, Crew Morrow, drinks and posed as Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, in his bed. Of course, there should be some debate about the pregnancy situation and Bill Spencer's, Don Diamorne, choice to keep Luna locked up in the Spencer estate for now. Ridge and Brooke may confront Bill about that choice as they'll undoubtedly think Luna belongs back behind bars instead. Next, Poppy Nozawa, Romy Park, will share some moments with John Finn Finnegan, Tanner Novlan, in his office, so that may be where they'll hear updates on Luna being alive. Whether Lee breaks the news or maybe Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, instead, someone should fill them in on Luna's big comeback. Both Poppy and Finn will eventually hear about all the ruckus Luna caused after Lee rescued her life. Naturally, out-of-town Steffy will need to hear of Luna's return as well. Since Taylor, Ridge, and Finn will all be in the loop on Luna's survival, there's no way they'll keep Steffy in the dark for too long. Finn may be the one to ring Steffy up and let her know Luna isn't deceased after all. Part of Finn may feel glad deep down given that's his daughter, but another part of him may be outraged over all the turmoil that's getting stirred back up. Luna hasn't changed a bit, so B&B spoilers indicate she'll continue to wreak havoc while everyone around her reacts to the train wreck. In the meantime, Hope's romantic decision could get a whole lot tougher as Carter helps re-establish Hope for the future. That might make Hope feel even more inclined to follow her vow to Carter, even if she actually desires Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, at her core. Nevertheless, there'll come a day when Carter will realize for himself that Liam is who Hope belongs with. Carter will finally open his eyes to Hope and Liam perhaps being each other's destiny. Therefore Hope will deliver a shattering blow to Carter whether she means to or not. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers claim the week of October 6 to 10th will offer some excitement and set the stage for even more shockers, so stay tuned. And as the news of Luna Nozawa's survival rippled through Los Angeles, an invisible current of tension, disbelief, and barely contained rage wove itself through the lives of the Forresters, Spencers, and everyone entangled in their web of love, lies, and long-buried secrets, beginning with Ridge Forrester, who paced the Forrester Creations runway like a caged lion, his hands running over the soft fabrics of the latest collection, while his mind replayed the revelation that Katie Logan, in her relentless pursuit of truth and justice, or perhaps revenge, had somehow resurrected Luna's existence in the minds of those who had believed she was gone forever, and Ridge could not fathom the audacity, the sheer recklessness, of someone keeping this knowledge from him and Brooke, knowing full well that their lives, their families, and their delicate balances of trust could shatter under the weight of such a bombshell. And speaking of Brooke, she sat nearby, equally consumed, her fingers unconsciously twisting a gold chain around her neck as she envisioned Luna's duplicitous acts, the spiking of Will Spencer's drinks, the masquerade as Electra in his bed, the entire labyrinth of manipulations that had now returned to haunt them all, and she could feel the pulse of anger rising inside her like a tidal wave, because for months she had believed that the nightmare was over, that peace had finally been restored, that the Spencers and Forresters could once again move forward without the shadow of Luna's schemes looming over their every thought. But now that shadow had grown larger than ever, and it seemed to threaten the very foundation of their families, and Brooke's mind raced with questions. Why had Lee Finnegan saved her? What had compelled her to intervene at all? Could she truly be trusted? And what about Bill Spencer, who had made the decision to keep Luna locked away at the mansion for the time being, a choice that Brooke knew would spark fury in Ridge and perhaps ignite a civil war of wills? Because neither Brooke nor Ridge could abide by the notion that Bill, with all his power and cunning, could make unilateral decisions that impacted the lives of everyone they loved, and yet, despite the swirling storm of anger and disbelief, they knew confrontation was inevitable, that Bill would have to answer for his actions, and the scene was only further complicated by the looming presence of the pregnancy crisis. The delicate state of Will Spencer's emotional and physical well-being, and the ethical and moral quagmire of the choice to confine Luna in secrecy, a decision that felt like balancing on a knife's edge. And so, as Ridge and Brooke prepared to confront Bill, their minds teetered between reason and rage, while in another part of the city, Poppy Nozawa and Finn Finnegan were quietly absorbing the seismic shock of Luna's survival, their office buzzing with the muted energy of whispered revelations, phones pressed to ears, messages flying back and forth, as each tried to piece together the chronology of events, to understand the motives, the risks, the consequences, and the sheer unpredictability of Luna's return. And Poppy, whose instincts for drama and justice were nearly as finely tuned as her insight into human behavior, found herself contemplating how best to deliver the news to Finn, whose loyalty to his family, his daughter, and the truth made him simultaneously relieved and infuriated, because part of him rejoiced that Luna, his child's mother, was alive, but another part seethed at the chaos she represented, the uncertainty, the unending spiral of manipulations and deception that seemed to follow her like a shadow. And Finn, upon receiving the updates, realized with a sinking heart that the ramifications would be felt not only in Los Angeles but far beyond, reaching out to Steffi, who was traveling and needed to be informed, because Steffi's connection to the unfolding drama was inescapable, her presence a constant reminder that the women in the Forrester family were inexorably linked to the trials and tribulations that Luna represented. And Finn, despite his own conflicted emotions, understood that he had to relay the information carefully, to navigate the tension, to ensure that Steffi heard the news without it overwhelming her, while Taylor Hayes, the ever-diplomatic and steadfast presence, coordinated updates with Ridge, Finn, and the rest of the family, serving as the stabilizing force, the calm in the storm, even as she recognized that Luna's return was a powder keg that could ignite at any moment, and each character braced for the inevitable collision of past mistakes, unresolved feelings, and the complex web of interwoven relationships that defined their lives. Because Luna, as history had shown, was not a mere inconvenience, but a catalyst, a force of nature whose actions could alter destinies, reshape alliances, and challenge the deepest commitments of love, loyalty, and family. And while the Forresters and Finnegans wrestled with these revelations, Hope Logan faced her own tumultuous crossroads, for the reinstatement of hope for the future, made possible by Carter Walton, created both opportunities and obligations, and Hope felt the crushing weight of duty to Carter, a man who had devoted himself to her happiness, who had fought to secure her professional legacy, and who believed in her as much as any man ever had. And yet, despite his devotion, her heart tugged inexorably toward Liam Spencer, the man with whom her soul was intertwined, whose presence brought both the exhilaration of passion and the comfort of familiarity. And as the week progressed, Hope realized that a moment of truth was approaching, that she would soon have to confront her feelings, to make decisions that could irreversibly alter multiple lives, and that in delivering what B&B spoilers call a crushing blow to Carter, she would not merely be breaking a promise, but reshaping the emotional landscape of everyone involved. And as each scene unfolded, every conversation, every glance, every decision carried the weight of past traumas, losses, and victories, because in this world of wealth, ambition, and complicated hearts, nothing was ever simple, and every action had reverberations that extended beyond the immediate, creating a symphony of tension, romance, and danger that would keep audiences riveted. And so as the week of October 6th to 10th played out, each character navigated a labyrinth of desire, loyalty, and deception, fully aware that the return of Luna Nozawa was not merely a plot point but a turning point, a seismic shift that would force confrontations, awaken truths, and illuminate passions that had long been buried, while the underlying question lingered in the minds of all: who would emerge victorious in the battle between heart and duty, between past and future, between chaos and control, because Luna's presence ensured that no one could predict the outcome, and as Hope prepared to deliver her fateful decision to Carter, the tension built to a crescendo, each heartbeat echoing the anticipation of viewers, the suspense of the narrative, and the promise of dramatic revelations that only B&B could provide.